Pinewood Studios is a British film studio and television studio situated in Iver Heath, Buckinghamshire, England, approximately 20 miles west of central London. It is run by the Pinewood Studios Group. The studios have been the base for many productions over the years, from big-budget films to television shows, commercials and pop promos, and is well known as the home of the James Bond, Superman, and Star Wars sequel trilogy film series. History: Pinewood Studios was built on the estate of Heatherdean Hall, which was a large Victorian house. It was purchased by Canadian financier and MP for Brentford and Chiswick Lt. Col. Grant Morden, who added refinements such as a ballroom, a Turkish bath and an indoor squash court. Due to its seclusion, it was used as a discreet meeting place for high-ranking politicians and diplomats, and the agreement to create the Anglo-Irish Treaty was signed there. On Morden's death in 1934, building tycoon Charles Booth bought the land and turned it into a country club. The ballroom was converted into a restaurant and many of the bedrooms became furnished suites. 1930s. In 1935, millionaire Methodist and flour magnate J. Arthur Rank created a partnership with Booth and together transformed the estate into a film studio. Booth based designs for the studio complex upon the latest ideas being employed by film studios in Hollywood, California. Booth named the new studio Pinewood because of the number of trees which grow there and because it seemed to suggest something of the American film center in its second syllable. In December of that year, construction began, with a new stage completed every 3 weeks. The studios were finished 9 months later, having cost £1 million. 5 stages were initially completed and a provision for an enclosed water tank capable of holding 65,000 gallons, which is still in use. In the years that followed, he also undertook further work on both the Pinewood Film Studios and the Burnham Film Studios, both of which had by then become a part of their newly formed Rank organization. On 30 September 1936, the studio complex was officially opened by Dr. Leslie Bergen, Parliamentary Secretary to the Board of Trade. The first film director to use the facilities was Herbert Wilcox, completing London Melody featuring Anna Neagle, portions of which had already been filmed at British and Dominion's Imperial Studios in Elstree before a fire there halted production. The first film to be made entirely at Pinewood was Talk of the Devil, directed by Carol Reed. There followed a prolific period of Pinewood and British film in history, with Pinewood following the studios adopting the unit system, an American industry practice. This enabled several pictures to be filmed simultaneously, and ultimately Pinewood achieved the highest output of any studio in the world. 1940s. During World War II, Pinewood was requisitioned and subsequently the Crown Film Unit, No. 5 Army Film and Photographic Unit, a Royal Air Force Film Production Unit and Polish Air Force Film Unit were based there. The Crown Film Unit completed many classic wartime documentaries including Roy Bolting's Academy Award-winning Desert Victory. Fires were started, Coastal Command and Western Approaches were all filmed there during this period, as well as the armed forces using Pinewood. The Royal Mint and Lloyd's of London were installed onto sound stages and opened for business for the duration. The Company of Youth, the Rank Organisation acting school, which launched several film careers, was founded in 1945. The next year, Pinewood reopened for business. 2 landmarks in British filmmaking made at Pinewood were released in 1948. Oliver Twist, directed by David Lean, and Powell and Pressburg as The Red Shoes. Due to a shortfall in funds brought about by financial overspends the previous year, Rank did not have enough money to market The Red Shoes sufficiently at first in the US, but it went on to become Rank's biggest earner up to that point, grossing over £1 million. In 1948, John Davis was appointed managing director. By the following year, Rank had run up an overdraft of £16 million and announced a loss of £3.5 million, mainly due to big-budget flops. One of the largest of these had been Caesar and Cleopatra, which was originally budgeted at £250,000, but which eventually cost £1,278,000. 1950s. During the 1950s, Pinewood gave birth to the financial successes of the Carry On and Dr. film series, produced on behalf of Rank by Peter Rogers and his wife Betty E. Box, and directed by the brothers Gerald Thomas and Ralph Thomas respectively. Doctor in the House was the most popular box office film of 1954 in Great Britain. The Norman Wisdom comedies were also filmed at Pinewood. 1960s. The 60s were buoyant years for Pinewood, which was no longer solely dependent on the Rank organization to fill its stages. Now, renters were using half of the stages as Pinewood turned into a four-walls facility. The James Bond franchise began at Pinewood with the Terence Young-directed Drive No, and has continued to be based at the studio since then. J. Arthur Rank retired as chairman in 1962 and was succeeded by John Davis, who had begun to move the Rank organization away from mass film production and towards more profitable and less risky businesses like bingo and holidays. 1970s. The 70s were an uncertain period for Pinewood and the film industry in general, with the studios being used more for television programs, including ITC Entertainment's UFO, The Persuaders, starring Tony Curtis and Roger Moore, and Space. 1999. Throughout the lean years of the 1970s, the Superman franchise almost certainly saved the studios from financial crisis. 1980s. 4 James Bond movies, For Your Eyes Only, Octopussy, A View to a Kill and The Living Daylights, amongst several other very large productions, such as Aliens and Tim Burton's Batman, kept the studio busy during the decade. 1990s. Due in large part to unfavourable UK tax laws for inward investment in the UK film industry, the 1990s were precarious and witnessed an all-time low in British film production generally, but many large-scale productions such as Alien 3, Tim Burton's Batman Returns and 3 further Bond films kept Pinewood operating. The Rank Group owned the studio until 2001, when they sold Pinewood to a group led by Michael Grade and Ivan Dunleavy. The purchase of Shepperton Studios from a consortium headed by Ridley and Tony Scott gave rise to the Pinewood Studios Group, with both UK and international interests including Shepperton Studios, Teddington Studios, Pinewood Toronto Studios, Pinewood Indominus Studios, Pinewood Studio Berlin and Pinewood Iskandar Malaysia Studios, combining 3 studios as well as new and modern state-of-the-art purpose-built facilities. 2000s. In 2009, Pinewood and Shepperton received a BAFTA award for their outstanding British contribution to cinema. 2010s. The Pinewood Studios Group was subject to a hostile takeover approach in 2011. Manchester-based The Peel Group acquired a 73% stake, but Warren James Jewellers retained a 27% stake, so preventing a full takeover. As of 2012, Pinewood's management is waiting to see if the Financial Services Authority will cancel the stock market listing in recognition of the fact that nearly all the shares are held by 2 groups: stages, studios and locations. The 007 stage was originally built for the Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me and featured a massive water tank, one of the largest in Europe. The stage was destroyed by fire in 1984. It was rebuilt 4 months later and renamed Albert R. Broccoli's 007 stage in time for filming to commence on A View to a Kill. Another fire on the 30th of July 2006 seriously damaged the stage, causing the roof to partly collapse. Construction of a new stage began on the 18th of September and was completed in under 6 months. Since then, the stage has accommodated large productions including Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, Quantum of Solace, and the whole fishing village from Mamma Mia was built on the stage, as well as the 007 stage, which is the largest stage at any of the studios under the Pinewood Studios Group at 59,000 square feet. The studio has 15 other stages ranging from just 1,728 square feet to cater for productions of all sizes. One of those studios, the T Stage, is a specialist stage for both television and film productions and the studio's second largest stage at 30,000 square feet. Pinewood Studios paid tribute to Richard Attenborough's body of work by naming a purpose-built film and television stage after him. The Richard Attenborough stage has an area of 30,000 square feet. In his absence because of illness, Lord Putnam and Pinewood chairman Lord Grade officially unveiled the stage on the 23rd of April 2012. Opposite it is a post-production block named in honor of Stanley Kubrick. The studio also has two specialist TV studios, named TV1 and TV2, complete with integral galleries, TV studio floors, TV lighting grids and SD or HD facilities. Both studios stand at just under 9,000 square feet. As stated earlier, Pinewood is situated on the old estate of Heatherdean Hall, which still stands today. The mansion, its gardens and other parts of the studios have been used in various productions over the years. Peeping Tom shows people driving out through the main gate and has various shots in the studios, offices and corridors. Return to the Edge of the World includes shots of director Michael Powell driving into the studio. The iconic main gate also features in My Week with Marilyn when Eddie Redmayne greets Judi Dench. This film also contains many shots of the dressing room corridors in the main makeup block. Heatherdean Hall has appeared in several films. It was made to look fire-damaged and derelict for the children's film The Amazing Mr. Blunden and also appeared as the Indian residence of Governor Sir Sidney Roughdiamond in Carry On Up the Khyber. The studios have acres of backlots where huge sets have been built, from castles to whole villages including Godric's Hollow from the Harry Potter film series. Burnham, Beeches and Black Park. The proximity of the ancient woodland Burnham, Beeches and Black Park to Pinewood and the outstanding natural beauty of the forest have made Burnham Beeches a desirable filming location for productions being filmed at Pinewood. Burnham Beeches has been used for a large number of films, including Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, First Knight, Goldfinger, The Princess Bride and Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Many other films and TV productions have made use of the facilities on offer at the Beeches. Pinewood Atlanta. The studio announced in April 2013 that its first film production facility in the United States would be located south of Atlanta. The complex, which includes production offices and at least 5 sound stages, is located on 288 acres in Fayette County, Georgia. Pinewood Atlanta is a joint venture between the studio and Rivers Rock LLC, an independently managed trust of the Cathy family, founders of the Chick-fil-A fast food chain. The first production set to film at the studio was Ant-Man in 2014. Pinewood Iskandar Malaysia Studios. Pinewood Iskandar Malaysia Studios is a studio complex located at a 20-hectare site in Nusa Jaya, Johor, managed by the Pinewood Studios Group. It targets the Asia-Pacific region. Pinewood Shepperton plc entered into a strategic agreement with Khazanah Nasional Berhad, the investment holding arm of the Government of Malaysia, in connection with the development of a new film and television studio facility in Iskandar, Malaysia. Heavy investment is pouring into the region, providing necessary funds for infrastructure projects and large business developments. Construction began towards the end of 2010, with completion expected by the end of 2012. The state-of-the-art facilities being built as part of the studio complex include 100,000 square feet of film stages, ranging from 15,000 square feet to 30,000 square feet. the first two at 15,000 square feet while the other two at 20,000 square feet. The biggest stage at 30,000 square feet will have a water tank for productions that require work on or underwater. 1. There are 2 TV studios, each at 12,000 square feet. Water filming. Pinewood has extensive water filming facilities, including the globally unique underwater stage and a huge exterior tank backed with a massive green screen measuring 240 feet by 60 feet. Post-production. Pinewood and Shepperton's FACT-accredited post-production departments are very successful with BAFTA and Oscar-winning teams. Project Pinewood. In November 2007, Pinewood announced a £200 million expansion plan, known as Project Pinewood. If built, the development would see replicas of streetscapes and zones replicating locations from the UK, Europe and the USA. Planned zones include a college campus, Amsterdam, modern European housing, Venice, Lake Como, Paris, an amphitheatre, Prague, West Coast American housing, warehousing and downtown New York sets, Chicago, Vienna, a castle, a UK canal, Chinatown and a London street market built. In addition, it will also be used as residential housing, with the proposed creative community expected to be in the region of 2,000 and 2,250, being integrated with the film locations. Job creation is also a key part of the plan, helping to boost the economy of both the region and the nation as a whole. Following consultations with the local community, the plans changed to reflect the community's opinions and suggestions. However, the planning application was still rejected by South Bucks District Council in October 2009, following a prolonged opposition campaign by local residents, who formed a Stop Project Pinewood group. Pinewood appealed against the decision and a public inquiry commenced on 5 April 2011 and on 20 January 2012. It was announced that the appeal had been turned down. On 15 May 2013, local councillors in South Buckinghamshire rejected a pared-down version of the expansion plans. In a statement, the chief executive of the studios, Iver, said he expected to appeal against the latest decision to the Secretary of State, Eric Pickles, who rejected the previous application a year earlier. On 19 June 2014, it was reported that Pinewood Studios had received approval to go ahead with the multi-million-pound expansion plans, which would see it rival Hollywood film sets. Enter the pitch. Pinewood Studios is one of the sponsors for the short film competition Enter the Pitch, also known as The Pitch, which launched in 2009. The Pitch is an online short film pitching competition that invites filmmakers to submit a project that takes inspiration from any story, character or theme in the Bible. The top 10 finalists are taken to Pinewood Studios, where they pitch their film to a panel of judges who are industry professionals. The person giving the winning pitch will win an apprenticeship with industry professionals and will be mentored on how to turn the pitch into a short film. Past winners of Derelict, Rahab, The Black Skulls, Conspiracy, The Light, Pulsar, and Only Child. Production history. Since its beginning, Pinewood Studios has been the location for many well-known films, with the long-running James Bond and Carry-On British film series making Pinewood their home. Some of the most notable Pinewood productions include 1930s, 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s, 2000, 2009, 2010, 2016 television EastEnders, Emmerdale, Extras, Little Charlie Bear, The IT Crowd, Midsummer Murders, Through the Keyhole, The Voice UK, 10 O'Clock Live, The Taste, Birds of a Feather, Big School, The Weakest Link, Red Dwarf.